Welcome everybody. So for this one, I want to show you how to add on the figures. So I just started with taking some silly pictures of my family and then I cut them out. Once you have them cut out, you can go either way depending on, what works best for your composition. So this one here, I actually did it in the reverse on this side. So basically you're using this as a mask to block off an area so that whatever you have underneath it is going to show, and then all the stuff around it is going to get neutralized a little bit with a complementary color, or just, since I used all warm colors over here for the main part, I used cool colors to help neutralize the background a little bit and make these stand out a little bit more. So on this side, since I have the cool colors for the background, I'm going to neutralize the background a little bit with some warm colors. So I have them just kind of like laid out so you could see how they're going to end up ultimately matching up. I generally just do it kind of one at a time, not all together at the same time. There's also another variation that you could do where if you cut out like a skyline, you could, instead of using the actual buildings, you could use this part of the paper and put that in the background and fill in this area black to create a skyline. But just make sure you don't do it where this paper is, and then it would end up being like this one, but with, a skyline in the background that looks like it's going behind the person, and that can look really cool. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to outline this one right here, and I'm just going to use yellow. So it's kind of one of those things where like you can't really do it wrong per se. So I'm just going to kind of like outline the person, and you are going to pick up a little bit of the green and stuff so you can wipe off your oil pastel as you go. I forgot to grab a piece of paper towel, but I can use this paper. So kind of clean it off so you can really get a nice line around the edge. I like to clean it off in between like color transitions too. So like from this blue to this purple, I kind of, cleaned it off so I'm not blending across those two as well. And then I'll clean it off again when I go back into the blue, and you're just gonna go all the way around. Now blue and green usually look pretty good together, so actually blue and purple do as well, but so you go all the way around. And if you have any negative space on the inside, you really got to make sure, like that's the part that usually makes it look the coolest. So it's really important that you get that. Oh, see, that's what I was trying to avoid since I went from the purple to the green. That's okay. I can just kind of blend it out. The part that makes this really cool is if you spend a lot of time making all those negative spaces, it adds a lot of interest and it can look really cool. So once you get all the way around with your complementary color, or just, the complementary color, remember, is the opposite on the color wheel, then I like to kind of go around and just make it a little bit easier to create the halo kind of effect, or to neutralize the background a little bit easier. So I'll add a little bit of extra yellow all the way around like this. Now I'll do this a little bit all the way around on each one, and then whichever color is like the main one that shows up in between, I will add a little bit more. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. So, okay, so I've gone around. So now I'm just gonna, oh, I forgot to do right here. Blink, 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 blink. So now I'm just gonna take my finger and kind of blend outward a little bit. If it messes up your background design a little bit, that's okay. Like our main goal here is to make this figure stand out anyway. So if it kind of blends out the background a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. but I do want to make sure that this figure shows really well, right? So then if you need to, you can always use like a little tool or like a pencil to kind of like find a spot that looks like it can lift up. I need a pencil. Okay, I don't have a pencil handy. Oh, but I do have this needle. Okay, so I'm gonna pick up, haha, there it goes. I'm gonna pick up the edge of this little mask, and right now you can start to see the outline. We are gonna emphasize it more later, but it kind of starts out where it's not showing a ton. But that's the same with how these ones started out. So some of them show really, really, really brightly, and some of them are a little more muted. But once we're done with the whole thing, then they show really, really well. But you can kind of see like around this one, I did the blue, around this one, I did a green, around this one, I did a lighter blue, and around this one, I did the purple. And then in between them, I made those little, you know, fan marks go all the way to the edge, and I just kind of blended it just a little bit, and that helped make these stand out more. So once you've got all of your pieces on here, I'll show you how to make it stand out more. All right, thanks everybody.